Imagine walking into a room and people just notice. No flashy outfit, no loud introduction, no trying hard energy. Yet heads turn, conversations pause for a second, and when you finally speak, everyone is already listening. That's unspoken impact. Most of what we transmit to others never passes through our vocal cords. It's in the way we enter a space, where our eyes rest, how still we are when someone else talks, the tension we carry in our jaw, the pace of our breathing. You're already broadcasting a message before you say a word, whether you realize it or not. In this video, we're going to unpack the art of unspoken impact, how to shape your presence, not by being fake or theatrical, but by becoming intentional. If you've ever felt overshadowed in meetings, ignored in groups, or misunderstood in conversations, stay right here. This might quietly change how the world responds to you. Unspoken impact is not about being the most charismatic person in the room. It's about having your internal state and external signals aligned so people feel something steady, clear, and trustworthy when they're around you. Across this video, we'll explore the psychology of first impressions, posture and physical stillness, eye contact and micro-expressions, the power of silence, reading a room, managing your energy, and projecting quiet authority, online and offline. I'll give you practical, simple adjustments you can start using today without turning into a robot. If you're interested in mastering subtle communication and you want more content like this, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss the next deep dives. And if you can, watch this all the way to the end. The concepts build on each other, and the later sections will help you put everything into a realistic daily practice. Let's begin with a clear definition of unspoken impact. Unspoken impact is the total effect you have on people before, between, and beyond words. Think of it as three layers working together. First, there's your physical layer: posture, gestures, facial expressions, clothes, grooming, how you move through space. This is what people consciously notice. Second, there's your emotional layer, the mood you carry into a room: calm, anxious, impatient, open. Others pick this up mostly unconsciously through tiny cues in your breathing, micro expressions, and timing. Third, there's your intention layer, what you genuinely want from the interaction: to impress, to connect, to dominate, to understand. People don't need to know your exact thoughts. They feel the direction of your intent. When these three layers are aligned, your presence feels coherent. When they're mixed, like smiling while secretly resenting someone, people feel something off. Unspoken impact is the practice of aligning these layers deliberately, so your presence speaks clearly, even in silence. Before you even say hello, people form an impression of you in under a second. That first frame matters not because you need to be perfect, but because it sets the default narrative your words either reinforce or fight against. Psychology research shows we quickly judge two things: warmth, are you safe, kind, approachable, and competence, are you capable, reliable, put together. Most of this judgment comes from how you occupy space and how your face rests when you're neutral. Here are three subtle shifts. First, approach with vertical alignment: head, neck, spine in one relaxed line. It reads as calm confidence, not stiffness. Second, let your face rest in a micro-softened expression: jaw unclenched, eyebrows released, a hint of warmth around the eyes. Third, move at 10% slower speed when you first enter. Rushing signals anxiety or lower status. Your words arrive later. Your presence speaks first. Give it something stable to say. Posture is not about standing like a soldier. It's about how at home you seem in your own body. People read that instantly. Think of a triangle: feet as the base, head as the top point. A stable base gives you grounded energy. Stand or sit with feet firmly planted, hip width apart. Avoid wrapping your legs and arms tightly around yourself. That signals withdrawal. Next, Imagine a string gently lifting the crown of your head while your shoulders melt down and back. This creates openness in your chest, which people interpret as openness in your attitude. You're not puffing yourself up, you're simply not collapsing. Finally, practice intentional stillness. Constant fidgeting, tapping, or shifting leaks nervous energy. You don't have to freeze, just let your movements be purposeful. Reach for your glass, then return to stillness. Nod, then pause. A body that looks comfortable tells others, I can handle being here. You can relax around me. That's silent leadership. Eyes and microexpressions are like subtitles for your inner world. People don't consciously decode each flicker, but they feel the overall tone. Let's start with eye contact. Two extremes kill unspoken impact. Darting eyes that never land, and intense staring that feels invasive. Aim for what I call anchored glances. When someone speaks, let your gaze rest calmly on one of their eyes or the space between them for a few seconds, then naturally glance away, then back. This signals interest without pressure. Microexpressions, tiny flashes of emotion, leak your true reactions. Disgust, contempt, or fear may appear for a fraction of a second before you mask them. You don't have to control every twitch. Instead, work on your genuine mindset. Approach interactions with curiosity rather than judgment, and your microexpressions will soften naturally. A relaxed gaze, soft eyes, and congruent micro-reactions make people feel seen instead of scanned, and that feeling is unforgettable. Silence is one of the most underestimated tools of unspoken impact. Many people fear it, so they rush to fill every gap with words, jokes, or nervous explanations. But when used with care, silence can do three powerful things. First, it creates weight. After you make an important point, pause. Let your words land. That quiet moment tells people this matters. Second, silence invites others in. When someone finishes speaking, wait a beat longer than feels comfortable. They often reveal something deeper because the space feels safe and unhurried. Third, silence regulates emotional intensity. In conflict, lowering your voice slightly and slowing your responses, leaving short pauses, calms the room. Your stillness becomes a reference point. The key is intention. Silence should feel attentive, not checked out. Maintain soft eye contact or a grounded gaze, open posture, and relaxed breathing. You're not withdrawing, you're holding space. People remember how that space felt. Your emotional state is contagious. Long before you speak, people start matching your breathing, your tension level, your speed. That's why some people walk in and the room tightens, while others arrive and everyone exhales. The foundation of unspoken impact is emotional regulation, the ability to feel what you feel without being hijacked by it. Before you enter a conversation, check in. Am I anxious, rushed, annoyed? If yes, take 30 seconds alone. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4 seconds. Exhale for 6. Dropping your exhale longer tells your nervous system it's safe. Next, set a simple intention. I'm here to understand, or I'm here to bring calm, rather than I must impress. Your body aligns subtly around that. Finally, notice your internal speed. If you think fast, consciously move 10 to 15% slower. Walking, turning your head, reaching. Calm movements broadcast calm emotions, which others unconsciously mirror. In groups, that makes you quietly magnetic. Reading the room is the art of noticing what isn't being said. Collective energy, unspoken tensions, unvoiced interests. People with strong unspoken impact adjust to this undercurrent instead of plowing through with a fixed script. Start with macro energy. Is the room buzzing and loud or quiet and tense? Match just a bit below the dominant energy to avoid clashing. In a hyped room, come in grounded. In a flat room, bring slightly more warmth, not manic enthusiasm. Then, scan microdynamics. Who's leaning forward? Who's shut down, arms crossed, eyes on their phone? Who everyone subtly glances at before agreeing? These are cues about influence and engagement. Listen to the rhythm of interruptions and laughter. Where do conversations die quickly? Where do they expand? Aim to contribute where energy is already flowing instead of forcing attention. Reading the room isn't mind reading, it's pattern reading. The more you practice, the more you notice, and the more precisely your presence can respond. Status signals aren't about being better than others. They're about how much weight people unconsciously give your presence in a social hierarchy. These signals can amplify or undermine your unspoken impact. High status behaviors in a healthy sense include comfort with space, not shrinking unnecessarily, controlled movements, speaking last instead of first, and a relaxed, open face. Low status signals often look like rushing, over-explaining, laughing too loudly at unfunny comments, or constantly self-correcting mid-sentence. One powerful reframe: behave as if you already belong. In a new environment, notice the most grounded person in the room. How do they sit? How do they gesture? You don't copy them, you let their level of ease calibrate yours. True status comes from self-possession. Knowing your value isn't at stake in every interaction. When your worth feels non-negotiable internally, your body stops pleading externally. People sense that and respond with respect, often without knowing why. Unspoken impact doesn't disappear online, it just shifts channels. In digital spaces, your presence is conveyed through framing, stillness, timing, and micro reactions on camera. On video calls, start with your frame. Position the camera at eye level with your head roughly in the upper third of the screen. Good lighting that clearly reveals your eyes builds trust more than the sharpest microphone ever will. Next, manage your resting posture. Avoid the hunched, laptop lean with your face too close. Sit back slightly, both feet grounded, shoulders relaxed. When you listen, look at the camera occasionally, not just the screen, to simulate real eye contact. Finally, mind your micro reactions even more than in person. Exaggerated nodding, constant self-checking in your own video window, or visible multitasking destroy unspoken impact. Aim for calm attentiveness, small, sincere nods, steady gaze, occasional brief smiles. Even behind a screen, people feel your presence. Make that presence deliberate, not accidental. Let's anchor this in 3 everyday contexts: work, dating, and friendships. At work, unspoken impact shows up in meetings. Instead of jumping in immediately, listen first. Sit with grounded posture, take brief notes, and then speak with measured pace. When you challenge an idea, keep your body open, palms visible, shoulders relaxed, so your disagreement feels constructive, not combative. In dating, nervous overcompensation is common. Oversharing, forced jokes, intense eye contact, shift focus outward, be genuinely curious. Let your body language say, "I'm comfortable with myself and I'm here to see you," rather than, "Please validate me." With friends, impact is built over time. Show up consistently, remember details, and offer undivided attention when they're vulnerable. Sometimes your silent presence beside someone going through a rough time speaks more loudly than any advice. Different contexts, same principle. Your inner steadiness, expressed through subtle signals, shapes how safe and significant people feel around you. You might worry, if I practice this, won't I become fake? That fear is valid and actually useful. The goal is not to layer on an artificial persona. It's to remove the static that blocks your authentic presence from being felt. You're not inventing a new self. You're refining how clearly the existing self transmits. Here's how to practice without becoming performative. First, pick one micro skill at a time. Posture today, silence tomorrow, instead of trying to manage everything at once. Second, practice in low-stakes situations, with a barista, on a short call, walking into a casual gathering. Third, check your motive. If you're thinking, "How can I look powerful?" you'll feel stiff. Shift to, "How can I be more fully here?" That intention softens your body and keeps you honest. Over time, these adjustments become automatic, like learning to drive. The technique fades, What remains is a clearer, calmer version of you. Let's distill the essentials so you can start using them immediately. First, your presence speaks before your words. Align your physical, emotional, and intention layers so people feel coherence, not mixed signals. Second, posture, eye contact, and stillness are your core tools. Stand or sit grounded. Let your gaze rest calmly and move with purpose rather than fidgets. Third, use silence strategically. Pause after important points, allow others to fill the space, and slow down in conflict to regulate the emotional climate. Fourth, manage your inner state. A few deep breaths and a clear, simple intention before entering a room can shift your entire nonverbal broadcast. Fifth, read the room and adjust gently. Match the energy slightly below. Notice who holds influence and contribute where engagement already lives. Finally, think long game. Unspoken impact is built through consistent, calm, congruent presence over time, not dramatic performances. Quiet changes in how you show up can have surprisingly loud effects. If this video helped you see your own presence in a new light, don't let it stay theoretical. Pick one moment in the next 24 hours, a meeting, a call, a conversation, and experiment with just one idea. Maybe slower movements, maybe a deliberate pause, maybe a quick breathing reset before you walk in. Afterward, notice how people responded differently, even in tiny ways. That awareness is how you train this skill. If you want to keep building your unspoken impact, along with communication, psychology, and presence, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss future deep dives. Your engagement tells the algorithm this kind of content matters, and it genuinely helps the channel grow. Drop a comment sharing which concept you're going to test first, or a situation where you've felt the power of unspoken impact in your own life. And if you know someone who needs this, maybe a quiet friend or a new leader, share this with them. Your presence is already speaking. Now, choose what it says.